recording this as well. Okay, hi, and welcome to Natural Solutions and Support for Digestive Health. If I have not met you yet or you're new to my space, my name is Kelly. I am the Wholesome Nomad is my handle on all the social media vortexes. And I am a gastroparesis patient. So if you are, again, new here to my space, you don't know what that is. I have gastroparesis, which is a chronic stomach condition that affects the digestive system. And it's actually the reason that I came to essential oils in the first place, was through wanting to heal and needing to really just take ownership over what was going on with my health after my diagnosis. And, you know, I won't bore you with all of the details because you can go and you have a Google search bar, so you can go look up what gastroparesis is. And I know I have quite a few of my fellow gastroparesis warriors on here with me today. It's a very scary condition, and there's just not a whole lot of information out there about it. So, you know, one of the things I decided to do was just start educating myself, honestly. And I'm currently living asymptomatically, which means I don't have symptoms day to day. I occasionally do have flare-ups, but I have lots of tools in my toolkit to be able to really work with them. And I find that my flares are a lot shorter, they're less often, and I'm really just living a much more you know, well and naturally focused life. And it's been a long journey for sure. So I can't wait to share a lot of that with you here today, and also kind of just give you some of my favorite tips. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So I just figured I would throw this up there in case I have anyone who is brand new to our space here. So you can kind of get a little bit of a snapshot as to what goes on here at Team It's Essential. That's the team that I co-lead with a bunch of other wonderful, amazing women. And also so you kind of know a little bit more about me. So here are some of my 3 key beliefs. I believe that we all have a right to experience health in the fullest sense, and that's going to look differently for everybody. But I truly believe that's a big cornerstone of what needs to happen in our world. I believe our bodies intuitively know what they need to be well. That once we give our bodies the right tool and we can really open up a conversation and a partnership with our body and work with it, then our bodies just kind of know what to do. It's really a miraculous thing that happens when you start to give your body what it needs. I also believe that we have to change the way our healthcare system works for us, both in this country and globally. And I also believe that that shift begins in our homes. And so that's what we're going to be talking about here today as it relates to digestive health. Okay, so why in the world is digestive health even important? Why does it matter? There's a couple different reasons for that. So I'm going to throw out a few statistics here for you, and let me know if you're watching on Instagram or on Facebook or whatever, if any of this surprises you or how it lands for you. I would love to just invite you to join in the conversation with me. So 70% of our immune system is actually housed in our gut. So, you know, you hear, if you're in the holistic healthcare space at all, you hear a lot of this, you know, kind of buzzwords talking about, oh, how important your gut health is and how there's so much that's linked to the gut. But really understanding that, I think, is a whole deeper level when we start to look at some of the statistics. So 70% of your immune system, that's a huge amount, right? And as someone who was sick a lot, you know, as a teacher in my former life, before my diagnosis and before becoming a full-time RVer, you know, I was sick, I feel like all the time, like every 2 or 3 months, because I taught kindergarten the last 5 years, and the little critters have lots of little critters, right? And now kind of looking back retrospectively, the shift in my digestive health really mirrored what was going on with just, you know, overall healthcare and with my immunity. So that's a pretty alarming statistic to me, and just one really simple reason why gut health should kind of be on the priority list for you and on the forefront of your mind. Also, 90% of our serotonin is produced in our GI tract. So if you don't know what serotonin is, that is the happy chemical that makes you feel really good, right? We all need serotonin. Serotonin helps us, you know, stay out of any kind of like mood disorders. It helps us just feel really happy, fulfilled lives. And 90% of it is created in our GI tract. So if you have gut health imbalance, or you have any kind of wonky things happening inside the GI tract, it's very likely that you're going to see some of those effects and some of those symptoms kind of mirror in your emotional health, with just, you know, how you're balancing things in your brain and with your mood and things like that. So I really try to look at the body as, you know, as a whole thing. That's part of what being a holistic health coach is all about, right? Is looking at the entire body, and we can't look at gut health without also looking at emotional health. And we'll talk a little bit more about that today. Also, there's been a lot of research coming out that states that 80% of autoimmune issues are actually related to poor gut health or improper nutrition. Sorry if you're with me on the Zoom link, I have a spelling error there that I just caught. But anyhow, so if you are out there struggling with an autoimmune issue, this might be a really important topic for you to tune into and see if there's a way that you can kind of take ownership over your gut health and really kind of take that on and see if you don't see some shifts happening with, with how you're living with your autoimmune concern. Gut health is also linked to a ton of issues beyond digestion. So it's linked to sleep, skin issues, emotional stability, metabolism, and something I learned actually just this last week in preparing for this class is bone density. There's a ton of research out there that links improper gut health and not a strong enough gut microbiome to a loss in bone density. And I know that I work with predominantly women, and a lot of us have issues that we need to be aware of around bone density and health and things like that too. So if I haven't made a case yet for why gut health is important, I hope that some of these are helping you to understand just why this is a topic that I'm so passionate about, and why I think it needs to be a conversation that we're having in our homes, in our coffee shops, in our churches, with our girlfriends, because it really does kind of bleed out and trickle into every other aspect of our life. There is a mind-gut connection that we know about, and that is really linked to what is called our vagus nerve. So it's the big nerve that runs down your spinal cord, and it helps your gut actually talk to your brain. And interestingly enough, the gut actually has its own brain, so the gut does not need your brain to function, to do its own thing. But when there's any kind of damage to the gut health, or there's a disconnect there with that vagus nerve and the communication to your brain from your gut, that's where we start to see problems. So for those of you who are my GP warriors out there, you know that gastroparesis is caused most of the time by damage to the vagus nerve. And that comes in from a lot of different forms. That could be, an overuse of antibiotics. It could be some sort of trauma to the body that's happened. It can be linked to some other chronic dis-ease, right? Unease in the body, like diabetes and Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, things like that can actually cause damage to the vagus nerve. And that's what can then also cause gastroparesis or GP. So I know for me, when I was first diagnosed, that was news to me, because I couldn't remember any time that I had had trauma to my vagus nerve, and it blew my mind that this could even be an issue. But really starting to kind of look back and reflect, I was on antibiotic after antibiotic, rounds and rounds and rounds of it for years. I'm talking like probably almost 20 years of consistent antibiotic use from the time I was a very little girl. And so over time, that just kind of wears away that health of that vagus nerve. And so it's really no surprise to me that something was going to happen in my body to cause like a trigger to kind of shift into, my body just started speaking to me a little bit louder, right? And that's all that it is. Gut bacteria is something that we really need to be paying attention to. So we actually want bacteria in our gut. I know this is probably not news to some of you, but there is this, I think, weird attachment to the word bacteria. We think it's a bad thing, right? Because when we're trying to clean our countertops or our floors, we want to get rid of the bacteria, and we know that it's not really great to eat bad bacteria, but we need to have a good amount of healthy bacteria, healthy gut flora in our stomach in order to really thrive, and in order to have our entire body work well with itself and have all systems running, right? So kind of throwing out the shame or any kind of a negative attachment to the word bacteria for our purposes here in class today, because we're going to be talking about all those good bacteria that we need to have in our gut and why that's so important. I found a really interesting quote by the wonderful Dr. Josh Axe. If you don't follow him, I highly recommend that you do so, or at least check him out. He's got some great information out there. And I've always heard the quote, you are what you eat. He argues that that's not actually true, that instead we are what we digest. And for those of you who are in my gastroparesis space, you know that we don't digest a lot of our food, or we digest it at a very, very, very slow rate. And so this kind of like spinning that to look at when we are eating well and we're maximizing our nutrition and we're making sure that we're having a balanced diet, if our digestion isn't there, if we're not actually absorbing all those nutrients, and if we're not, maximizing our digestive processes, then we're actually not getting all the full benefits of that really rich, beautiful diet that you're trying so hard to maintain. So kind of keep that in the back of your mind. That's kind of been actually like a shift for me the last couple of weeks, even since I read that quote, you are what you digest. It's really interesting. I'm going to refer to something called the microbiome here throughout class. To kind of really simplify that, I want you to think about it as your unique fingerprint inside your body, okay? So everyone has a different microbiome. You're going to have more concentrations of this bacteria than other bacteria. Every body is different. So all the information I'm going to give you here today has either come from research that I've done or things that I've done on myself, like experimentation. I love using myself as a guinea pig. I've done it for 5 years now. And it's really taught me so much about my body, but know that your body is unique to you, just like your fingerprints. So your microbiome is also unique to you. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things here today, but just know that you might have to go through some trial and error, and this might be a part of the conversations you don't really want to hear from me, that there is no one magic button, right? There isn't like one essential oil or one supplement or one yoga stretch that I can tell you to do that is going to miraculously solve all of your digestive health issues. But I truly do believe that the information I'm giving you here today works for a lot of people because I've seen it work time and time again. It's worked for me in my life. And I think ultimately it's a really great starting point. So if you want to learn a little bit more or you want some more, individualized, personalized guidance, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to offer you a free wellness consultation call that we can kind of go over your health concerns, give you a few tips and ideas, and then we can talk about moving forward with independent private coaching, okay? All right. So I am going to be talking about some essential oils and supplements here today, in addition to some other things. And it's important for me to tell you, in case you're brand new here in our space, that I do partner with a company called doTERRA. They are the world's largest essential oil company. And there's a couple different reasons why I chose doTERRA. I'm not going to really go into all of them here today, but I do want to just tell you what the doTERRA difference is. So the reason why essential oils and supplements from doTERRA are such a cornerstone of my health is because they are natural, they are effective, and they are safe. And when I first got diagnosed, I didn't want anything to do with all of the prescriptions that my doctors were trying to get me on or the feeding tube they were trying to force me to install. I had no interest in any of that. And so I was searching for an answer that was more natural, that I could rely on, and that wouldn't, have any kind of negative side effects if it didn't work, right? I wanted that safety, and I really needed that there. So that's why I chose doTERRA. So that being said, all of the different tips and tricks I'm going to give you today on using different essential oils and supplements are just linked to doTERRA, okay? So not all essential oils are created equal, just like not all, almond milk is created equal, not all chocolate is created equal, right? There's a reason you get what you pay for, and I definitely trust this company. They are incredible. There is so much science and rigorous testing that goes above and beyond industry standards, and there's actually a lot of shady stuff that's going on in the essential oil industry as a whole right now. So I think it's really important as we look to partner with companies that are providing us with natural solutions that we pay really close attention to what is going on in the back end at some of these companies, and also that we partner with a person, with a consultant or advocate that we trust who can help kind of guide us through the process. And maybe that's me for you, and if so, then that's great. And if not, that's okay too. I hope you find someone who resonates with you and who can provide you with the education and the coaching and the support that you really need. Okay, all that's out of the way. So super really quick, down and dirty ways to use essential oils. So there's 3 ways you can use them: topically, aromatically, and internally. And we're going to talk about the 3 different ways, and then I'm going to give you some different essential oils that I like to use just for digestive health. But know that I personally use my digestive health oils and supplements in all 3 of these ways: topically, aromatically, and internally. So just to kind of give you an idea, topically, it would be super simple. You would simply take a drop of, this is peppermint, right? You could put a little in the palm of your hand, rub it on your tummy. There you go, digestive health support right there. Aromatically, you're going to want to use a diffuser. So you can find diffusers just about anywhere. I love the ones from doTERRA and also the ones from Stadler Form. It's another great company. I'm just going to put a couple of drops there. I already have water here in my diffuser. Turn it on. Look at that, I'm getting digestive health support in the air. Isn't that amazing? Super great, and peppermint helps to wake you up too, so now I feel really energized, which is also good. Another way you can use essential oils aromatically is just simply by breathing them in through the palm of your hand. So I often do this when I'm feeling like some digestive discomfort, especially if you're in the car, right? And maybe it's not even linked to a chronic issue, but you're in the car and you're feeling a little woozy, a little icky, you can simply just put a drop in the palm of your hand and breathe in. There you go, aromatic use of essential oils, super easy. You can also use them internally, and again, this relates just to doTERRA essential oils. I do not trust any other company on the market simply because I don't know enough about their testing and their quality and their sourcing, but I use my doTERRA essential oils internally all the time. My favorite way is actually just taking them in water. So I have a couple drops of lemon essential oil in here today to help get my digestive system moving, and because it tastes better than just regular plain old water. But there's a lot of different ways you can use them. You can put them in veggie caps, you can cook with them, you can take them on your tongue, tons of different ways. Okay? All right. Now we have all that fun stuff out of the way, let's kind of get a little grittier here with some different particular essential oils to use for digestive health. So the first one I want to talk to you about is a proprietary blend to doTERRA called Digestive. This is our Digestive Health Blend. And this is actually the essential oil that brought me into doTERRA. Someone shared this with me at a teacher training. Actually, she told me I did not look great and I didn't feel great. It was shortly after my diagnosis and actually 2 weeks before my feeding tube appointment. And she shared a drop of Digestive with me. And I know it's going to sound dramatic, but it changed my life. And this is why I'm here today. It provided me with instant relief that I needed from some of the debilitating nausea that is linked to gastroparesis often for a lot of patients. So this is kind of your all-around superhero tummy blend, okay? So any kind of digestive issue that you have, whether you're having some nausea issues, maybe you're running to the bathroom back and forth, maybe there's some cramping happening, Digestive would be one that would really support just healthy digestive processes and help your body to kind of do what it is naturally supposed to be doing, okay? So again, you could put this on topically, you could breathe it in the air, you could take it internally. Oftentimes when I'm having a flare-up, or especially in the beginning, right after my diagnosis and right after coming to essential oils, I would use this in all 3 of those ways pretty much all day long, every day. And it just is incredible, and there's lots of different ways you can go about it. I love that it's super safe and it's not going to interact with any of your medications. Same thing with all these different essential oils as well, okay? So Digestive, super great, and it's a proprietary blend that you actually cannot get anywhere else, which is wonderful. Peppermint, many people talk to me about peppermint essential oil a lot. They've heard of like taking peppermint tea and different types of things like that, because it's got a long history of helping to soothe digestive health concerns. But to kind of give you a little idea of the difference between using a peppermint essential oil and peppermint tea, it actually would take you 28 cups of peppermint tea to equal the same chemical constituents and properties of 1 drop of peppermint essential oil. So it's pretty spectacular. It's very, very potent. I really love this one for when I'm feeling kind of like bloated, like I've got just excess going on in there, maybe some bubbles, or I ate something that I shouldn't have. There was something that was a trigger for me. Peppermint is almost always the essential oil that I go to for that. Ginger, again, super popular in the holistic healthcare space for any kind of tummy issues. Maybe you've heard of like ginger chews or ginger drops, especially for pregnant mamas and who might be dealing with morning sickness. Ginger is really great for that. So it can also just translate over to any kind of chronic digestive health issue that you might have, or even acute, I really like this one for motion sickness. So if you or your little one struggles with that, this one might be a really good one to keep in the car, keep in a little roller so they could apply on topically, or you could, inhale and smell, even take it on the tongue or put it in some tea. It is a hot oil, so I wouldn't recommend giving this to kiddos by itself. I would definitely, add it to some tea, some water, something like that. You're going to want to dilute it because it is going to be really strong. But ginger is my go-to when I really need like a bigger punch than what I'm getting from my Digestive and my peppermint. What I really love too about essential oils, I love so many things about them, but in terms of, using them for digestive health, is you can totally layer these without any concerns, right? So oftentimes if I'm having a flare or I'm really not feeling great or I'm struggling that day, I'll put Digestive on topically, then I'll add a little ginger topically, then I'll drink some peppermint tea, and I'm getting it in all of the ways, and I don't have to be worried that I'm going to have some sort of like reaction or that they're not going to work well together, because these are plants. Right? And so it just makes a whole lot of sense. Our body can easily absorb it. It's really easy for plants in our bodies to communicate because they're made of the same stuff. And so that's what I really love about using this as a natural form of holistic medicine. And then cardamom is another one of my favorite oils for digestive health. This is, you might have heard of it, is in like cooking. I think a lot of like Indian foods use the cardamom. I love using cardamom in like curry. Side note, I use this a lot when I make my own curry. But I really love this one. It's a little more gentle, so not quite as potent as like a peppermint or a ginger, but still has just as many of the same beautiful, amazing properties for helping support the digestive system. And again, we could kind of get into more, sciencey stuff and all of that behind it, but for our purposes here today, I kind of wanted to gloss over just a few of my favorites for digestive health, and then we can have more conversations later, because I love talking about oils all the time. Lemon is probably one of my most used oils. It's super duper versatile, but for digestive health, I love using this one because it actually helps to promote the secretion of all of the yummy juices and enzymes and things that are going on in your gut that you need, okay? So actually upon waking, I do a drop of lemon essential oil in warm water. That's the first thing that I put into my mouth and into my stomach every single morning. It helps to kind of get the digestive system moving. It also is a natural, gentle detoxifier. So even if you leave a very non-toxic life, and you've swapped out all your cleaning products and your beauty products and all that sort of thing, you're still going to come into contact with toxins throughout your daily life, no matter where you live, right? So lemon kind of helps the body to naturally rid some of those toxins from the bloodstream and from our cells that we just don't need hanging out in our body, especially if we're struggling with any kind of autoimmune or chronic digestive health issue, okay? So lemon's going to be really great. You can add it to tea as well. It's very soothing. Frankincense. Frankincense is my favorite oil. He's my desert island oil. I have multiple classes just about frankincense. I could talk about him forever, but when it comes to digestive health, I love this one, especially if I have any kind of discomfort. So if I've got maybe some cramping happening, a lot of times with gastroparesis, that's what happens. You almost feel like kind of doubled over, can't really stand up straight. I love just applying frankincense topically. It's also very soothing. So when we talk about that like mind-gut connection, that emotional balance and stability that we get by healing the gut, frankincense is going to be really, really helpful for kind of tapping into that emotional side of things. So frankincense was actually the second oil that I really got into after my Digestion, and it is the one that has stuck around. He's tried and true. I actually take a drop of frankincense under the tongue twice a day just for total body wellness, but it's also really great to promote healthy digestion as well. And then fennel, you might have already heard of fennel, using fennel before, like making a fennel tea, fenugreek cookies, right? We hear about this a lot, especially for mamas, nursing mamas, things like that to help settle the tummy. So fennel is an essential oil that you can purchase that produced by itself as well, especially if you don't like Digestion or Digestion doesn't work well for you as an essential oil blend. Fennel's really great because you can have all the same benefits of the fennel and of a really great digestive healing plant without some of the other things in Digestion, like star anise and some of the other things that some people don't love the smell of. So if that is you, then maybe just try fennel by itself. And then last but not least, I can't ever teach pretty much any essential oil class without talking about lavender. It's truly the Swiss Army knife of oils. For digestive health, I love it because it actually is going to help calm the inflammatory response. So if you are, having some discomfort, or you're just feeling like you've got some pain happening, I would totally apply lavender. Also super duper gentle, so great for kiddos too. If some of you out there have little ones with any kind of digestive problems, upset tummies, even as early as like infancy, if you have someone who's just like they're just not feeling great, they're kind of bubbly, kind of gassy, lavender is a really great one, especially just to apply topically and add. And also another really great oil to have for emotional health and really supporting your brain and your body in that whole connection. Okay. Oh gosh, I've totally abandoned paying attention to my Facebook comments. Hi, friends. Susan asked me if I could repeat the doctor's name. Oh, Dr. Axe, A-X-E. Josh Axe is probably who I was talking about. And then, yes, diffusing ginger and peppermint when you're not feeling so great is a really good combination. Thanks, Nikki, for chiming in there. Okay, moving along to supplements. Now, I have to be completely honest with you. When I first got started in my hippie crunchy natural approach to things, supplements were the last thing that I implemented. And I don't ever say that I regret anything because I think it's all about the journey, but I do wonder oftentimes if I had started with supplements before I did, if I would have seen results a little bit faster. So these are actually, in addition to a couple different essential oils, these are some of the things that I recommend most people get started with, especially if you're dealing with any kind of digestive health issue. I also just truly believe that pretty much every person on the planet needs to be taking both of these two things. So we're going to talk a little bit about why I choose to use the ones from doTERRA because I've seen the best results from them. But of course, as you go out in the world and you do your own research, just make sure that you're really paying attention to where these different supplements are produced and what exactly goes into them, okay? So probiotics is kind of a buzzword. You might have heard about probiotics or using them in some of your Google searching. I think it's important for us to take a step back and understand the difference between a probiotic and a prebiotic, okay? So prebiotics we get from food. And they are basically those little things in our body that our body can't break down without probiotics. So they work together. They both need each other. But that being said, we need to make sure we're taking prebiotics in addition to our diet in order to help our probiotics to flourish. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so prebiotics are going to give you a boost. It's going to stimulate the growth of all the good bacteria that naturally occurs in your GI tract. So that's why we need prebiotics. And then the probiotics are actually like living. They're living bacteria that we get from living foods, okay? And they help to maximize the absorption of our nutrients. So again, they work really closely together, and it's very important that when you take a probiotic, you make sure that it comes with a prebiotic as well. And again, probably several thousand years ago, we were able to get our prebiotics from our food just by itself and not have any issues. But because of just time and the depletion of the nutrients in our soil, we're no longer able to get all of the enzymes and prebiotics and probiotics that we need from our food. So we have to supplement. This is my opinion, of course. So this is what the doTERRA probiotic looks like. I'll show you here on Zoom and Facebook, and then over here on Insta. So it's the most beautiful probiotic I think I've ever seen. It almost kind of looks like an alien to me. You see that green stuff in the middle? That's the probiotic. And then on the outside, it's surrounded by a prebiotic solution. So you're actually getting both the prebiotic and the probiotic in this. And what I love about it is it does not have to be refrigerated because of the way that they've engineered it. So they're really great for increasing food absorption, help you to stay regular. We can't have a digestive health class where we're talking about poop, people. So if poop weirds you out, you might as well hop off now. But helping you to stay regular bowel movements are incredibly important if you are not going at least one time a day, every single day. You got to talk to your girl, okay? We'll figure it out for you. I actually recommend taking your probiotics at night. There's a couple different reasons for that. You actually have higher acidity in your stomach in the morning. So if you know anything about the pH in the body, most normally functioning digestive systems are about a pH of 2 in the morning. So it's going to be really high acid. So if you take your probiotic in the morning, especially on an empty stomach, a lot of that you're just going to lose in the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, and it's not going to actually get all the way down into your intestines and into the gut where we really want all the good stuff, right? So when you take it at night, it can actually help you to restore gut balance while your body is in that restoration phase right before sleep and during sleep. And it also helps to break down any food that might still be lingering in your GI tract overnight. This is actually quite a big common problem with those of us in the gastroparesis space, that we have undigested food hanging out in our gut. And then when we wake up the following morning, that food is still in there and it's still sitting in there because it hasn't broken down overnight, and our digestive system and everything slows down at night when we sleep. So if you can take a probiotic at night, I recommend taking it on as empty of a stomach as possible. I know for some of us, we never truly have an empty stomach, right? That seems like a total crazy concept. But if you do take it at night, you know, right, like when you brush your teeth right before bed and you feel like you're a little gassy, try taking it with dinner, or maybe like 5 to 10 minutes after you finish eating dinner, especially if you have a normally functioning digestive system. My GPers out there, if you feel like you're gassier when you take your probiotic at night, maybe try taking it an hour after you eat your last meal. Give your body a little bit more time to process through some of it, and then just take it on as empty of a stomach as possible. That's what's worked best for me. So that's what I typically recommend you do. But again, you kind of have to experiment with it, right? So you might take your probiotics at night and realize it just doesn't work for you, in which case try taking them in the morning, try taking them in the afternoon, and see what happens and what resonates with you. Okay, and then up next is our enzymes. So digestive enzymes naturally occur in our body, but we need to get them from food. And again, there's not as many enzymes in our foods today just because of soil depletion and because of our toxic lifestyle. It just is what it is. So we need to supplement, right? Enzymes actually help to enhance the nutrition of our food. So we need them in order to make sure that we're benefiting the most from this nutrient-dense diet, hopefully, that we're eating or trying to eat, okay? Terra enzyme is the one that I take from doTERRA, and it's really great. I could go on and on, but basically enzymes in general break down the fats, carbs, and proteins in what you're eating. And when we break those down, then we can absorb them through our bowels, through the lining of our stomach and the lining of our intestinal tract, and actually get all those nutrients and all the benefits into our bloodstream. So you want to take it ideally about 5 to 10 minutes before eating. If that works for you and if you can remember. If you can't remember, take it with food. You know, I'm always a proponent of better to take it than to not. So if you're like, oh gosh, I just finished my meal and I forgot to take my enzyme, and you are struggling with any kind of digestive concern, I would just take one anyway. For me, if I take it 5 to 10 minutes before I eat, that's the most ideal thing for me to do. And if you have enzymes, especially the Terra enzyme, because this is the only brand I've ever taken that's worked for me, I highly encourage you to do this. I was going to do a little experiment while we talk here today, but I just didn't want to have it go crazy over time. But you can actually open these capsules up, these little enzyme capsules, crack them open, okay, it's just in a little veggie capsule, and put it in like oatmeal or applesauce or something like that, and just stir it up, and you can watch it over about 15 to 20 minutes. It will literally start to digest. It'll start to process whatever you've put it in, and it will liquefy over time, okay? So I did it with oatmeal not too long ago, and it took about, I would say, an hour and a half for the oatmeal to become pretty much completely liquid. It was totally gelatinous by the end of that. So that just kind of shows you what's happening in your system when you take digestive enzymes, especially when you're eating, or if you have gastroparesis or any other stomach condition that prevents you from digesting your food, it's going to help to kind of break all that down for you so that your stomach has an easier time of absorbing all of those nutrients. So again, super important to be taking probiotics and digestive enzymes. If you struggle with processing capsules, doTERRA does have a PB Assist Junior. So that's the probiotic for kids. It comes in a little powder, almost like a pixie stick. It's actually the one that I take. I have a hard time swallowing pills and I have a hard time processing them. So for me, that's the one I take, but I do have to double or triple up because they are designed for kids and not for a grown adult. So that just kind of an option for you if you're like sitting there going, oh gosh, I don't know if I can handle these pills. You can totally crack open your enzymes and then get the kiddo version of the probiotic so that helps you out. Okay, and then finally on the supplements, these are doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality supplements. I'm not going to go into crazy detail. I just had a whole class on this last month. So if you have questions, please feel free to let me know, or I can plug you into this resource here. They are hands down the best vitality supplement out there that you can find. To kind of really sum it up in a really easy way, it comes with an omega, a multivitamin, although it kills me to even call it that because it's so much more involved, and then a supplement for cellular health. I would argue that every person living, if they want to be thriving, really needs to be taking this Lifelong Vitality pack, especially if you have any kind of digestive issue and you're worried that you're not getting enough nutrition. You need to be on some sort of supplementation. Whether you choose to go with Lifelong Vitality because you're listening to me, or you choose to go with something else, just make sure you're doing your research. There's a lot of like crazy shady stuff that happens out there in the supplement industry as well. So just make sure that you're really paying attention to what's in them. I love these mainly because they have a tummy tamer blend in each and every one of them. So there's essential oils in each one of these vitamins that will actually help to calm your stomach when you take them so that you don't have any of that stomach upset that you might have gotten when taking a different vitamin before. Okay. All right. Some other favorites of mine that I can't teach a digestive health class without talking about. Deep Blue Rub. So oddly enough, this is actually our cream or essential oil blend for people generally who are athletes, if you have any kind of like muscle discomfort, pain, things like that. But this, especially in the early days of my diagnosis, was my lifesaver. So what I would do is I would apply my Digestive. I'd apply a little bit of Deep Blue Rub to help kind of relax everything and reduce some of that discomfort, and put a heating pad on top. And over time, I was really able to be able to function, to be able to stand up and move around and feel like I wasn't stuck on the couch attached to my heating pad all the time. So I can't recommend this stuff enough if you have any kind of discomfort and pain, really, but especially if you have any kind of digestive discomfort. I think oftentimes a lot of people don't think about using this for digestive discomfort. You can use it for, head tension. Maybe you worked out too hard and you got a little shoulder funky thing going on, or you're like me in your 30s. Now apparently when you sleep, it hurts sometimes. But especially for digestive discomfort, you could apply that topically right there and it'll be really helpful. Digestive soft gels. So this is simply that Digestive essential oil blend that we talked about, but it comes in a soft gel, so it's more convenient for you to take, almost just like a pill, right? It just has a couple drops of that Digestive essential oil blend in it, and then you just take it internally just for convenience sake. There is literally no difference between the oil and what's here in this soft gel. But I personally like the oil because I can do a little bit more with it, and I have a hard time swallowing pills. But if you don't like the smell of Digestive or don't like the taste of it, and that really is a struggle for you, you might want to look into getting the soft gels because you could just have them. They're also really great for on the go. I will give it that. So you don't have to find some water or a veggie cap or whatever to take your essential oil version. But there's no difference in terms of what's in it. Digest tabs are something that even in my team, and I do tons of essential oil education, I don't talk about these enough. They actually happen to be my husband's #2 favorite product. Deep Blue is his #1. These are basically your more hippie natural version of like an antacid, something that you would take if you were feeling like something was kind of backing up. It was a little, you might maybe have some burning sensation happening. You ate something you weren't supposed to. These are amazing, and you don't have any of those chemicals or synthetics or any of the junk that's in a lot of the ones you can buy over the counter. It actually just has that Digestive essential oil blend in it. Okay, so it's all kind of part of that family. You can tell how much I love the Digestive blend because I'm recommending literally 3 products for you with that in there. And then last but not least, I wanted to mention Copaiba, especially in the soft gel form. So Copaiba is a newer essential oil into our space. It's very similar in the way that it works on the endocannabinoid system to like a CBD oil, which I know is kind of like a buzzword, but it's important for me to tell you that this does not have any THC in it, any psychoactives, anything like that. It's from a completely different plant, but it works on the same body part, same system in our body, the endocannabinoid system. So this is really great if you have any kind of discomfort, but I recommend it actually for people with chronic digestive issues to help you process through a lot of the emotional stuff. So maybe you have like feelings of anxiousness, you know, surrounding this. I know for me, when I was first diagnosed, I didn't want to set foot in a grocery store. I did not want to meet you for coffee. I wasn't going to a restaurant. I didn't want anything to do with eating or drinking anything. And I really wish that copaiba would have been an essential oil back then, but it is another oil that I take every single day. It comes in an oil form, also comes in these soft gel versions. So you just, you know, whatever, choose your own adventure. But I also really like it for any kind of discomfort. So if your digestive health concern leads you to having some discomfort, maybe some inflammation, copaiba would be a really good one for you to add to your wish list. Okay, and this slide right here is particularly for my current essential oil customers, or those of you who are already working with doTERRA with somebody else. I don't think this gets enough attention either. You can actually order this little kit. It's right in your customer account. It is a loyalty kit, so it's only for our existing customers on your loyalty rewards program. So you can add this into your monthly wellness box, but it comes with the Digestive in the roller, the Terrazyme, the Digestive soft gels, the probiotics junior, so for the kiddos, the probiotics big kids, the regular one, and peppermint beadlets, which is just like a little tiny round ball of that peppermint essential oil. I order this kit a lot because my husband takes the grown-up probiotics, I take the kiddo ones, and then collectively we use all the other things all the time for digestive health. So just in case you're already an existing oil customer and you didn't know about this, I wanted to make sure that you had an opportunity to see it. Okay. Susan, CBD gives you debilitating nausea. Do you think this would as well? Again, you know, every body is different. I can say though, I personally have never tried CBD essential oil because I personally just don't want to take any of the psychoactives. And so for me, copaiba doesn't have any of those effects. I've actually heard a lot of people talk about using copaiba for digestive upset. So Susan, maybe give that a shot and see, you know, see if it works for you. I don't imagine it would cause any kind of stomach discomfort. That's what's really great about these oils. I think the worst thing that could happen with any of them is it does nothing for you. You know, you just smell like copaiba or Digestive or peppermint or something like that. But in terms of it like harming you or causing any kind of problem, that's very, very, very few and far between. And I want to say the number is like 95% of the adverse things that happen when people use essential oils are all skin related from not diluting heavily enough. So hopefully that answers your question, Susan, but let me know if it doesn't. Okay, some other things to talk about when it comes to digestive health. These are just some other hippie things, not necessarily related to doTERRA, but things that are really integral to my personal healthcare routine and I think are really, really important. Fiber, don't laugh at me, okay? I'm not an 80-year-old woman, but even if I was, that's okay. So a lot of times when I tell people to take fiber, they look at me like I'm crazy. But there's a lot of research that goes into this, and I think you just, again, need to just educate yourself on it, okay? And don't poo-poo it, pun intended, before you give it a shot, especially if you have any kind of digestive health issue. So when I was diagnosed with gastroparesis, I was vegan at the time. I had been vegetarian for, I think, 4 years before that, and then vegan for quite a while at that point. And so I was eating a very fiber-rich diet, lots of leafy greens, lots of raw fruits and vegetables. I was actually trying to go raw at the time. Which ended up, of course, not working. Those of you who have gastroparesis know that, you know, we cannot process any kind of those raw fruits and vegetables, especially in the beginning when things are really not great. So fiber we're going to have to get from other sources. But dietary fiber actually already has prebiotics in it, which is really great. We talked about prebiotics a little bit ago, so we need them. Even if you're already taking the PB Assist that has a prebiotic in it, I would still highly recommend that you get some fiber in your diet. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to soluble versus insoluble fiber, okay? So soluble fiber is fermentable. It ferments. You're going to get that from foods that can ferment, right? So fresh foods, and they absorb water. Insoluble fiber, you want to think of like bulky, right? It's insoluble. It won't absorb water. It won't break down. That is going to just stop you up and cause more problems. So a lot of times I think when people think fiber, they think taking something to help you not go, right? To help kind of stop you up. That's going to provide more bulk. If you have a digestive health issue, you want to look at soluble fiber to help promote regularity and healthy poops. If you're not looking at your poop or keeping some sort of a poop journal and you have a digestive health concern, I'm telling you right now, you got to do it. Start looking at it. It's important. It tells you a lot. We are not going to go into all of that today, although we totally could. But fiber can definitely help. You might be surprised at what it can do for you when you take it. So I've had some questions around like when to take fiber. There's actually been a lot of research, and one of my sweet oilers brought this up to me last week during our group coaching call. She had mentioned that she was researching taking your fiber, your dietary fiber, with a probiotic. I have not tried that, so I'm going to do a little experimenting, and I will be sure to let you know. I'll throw up a post or something and let you know how that works for me. I don't see why it could be a bad thing, and it might actually help to increase the efficacy of your probiotic because you're adding more prebiotics into that, especially if you have higher acid higher acid on the pH scale in your stomach. I could see how that would make a little bit more sense. Okay. Collagen. Collagen is another thing that I think a lot of people think of for like hair, skin, and nails. You know, something I get asked a lot is like, oh my gosh, how's your hair so long, or whatever, all this stuff. My hair was falling out in clumps many, many years ago, but just through time and the supplements and essential oils and collagen, I've been able to kind of grow my hair and just to totally change really everything about it. But collagen for digestive health can actually be really, really great too. So this is the version I take. This is by Vital Proteins. You can snag it on Amazon and grab it at Whole Foods. It's a powder. It is tasteless, colorless, odorless. I just add it to pretty much anything. You add it to oatmeal, add it to soup, add it to my smoothies, add it to, if you drink coffee, you could add it to like bulletproof coffee if you're doing that kind of a thing. Collagen is really, really high, is a very high content of amino acids. And amino acids help to stimulate cell growth, okay, which is why collagen is so great for our skin, our hair, and our nails, because it's stimulating all that, helping cell growth. Well, think about that in terms of your digestive health and your lining of your stomach and your intestinal tract. If you can stimulate more cell growth, it's going to kind of even out all those little grooves and maybe the pockets that might be forming in your digestive tract, in your GI tract, and help to, how can I explain this? So, okay, collagen tightens our skin, right? Kind of tightens it all up. It increases elasticity and collagen in our face. Same thing in your intestinal tract. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't. Also, collagen can help to reduce inflammation. So that's also really important if you have any kind of digestive health concern, right? Especially if you've got some discomfort, taking collagen might help you with some of that. And collagen also helps to regulate acid production. Katie likes my sound effect of tightening your skin. But yeah, collagen is great for regulating acid production as well. Okay. Oh gosh, my friend's here. Hold on. I forgot to unlock the door. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Hi, you guys. I'm so sorry. I forgot to unlock the door for him, and I didn't want to lock him outside because I think it's going to rain. Okay, magnesium is the next thing I wanted to talk to you about. I use this version. It's a powder. It's called Natural Calm. Again, you can snag it on Amazon, Whole Foods, wherever. I think even Target has it these days. But you can also take it in drop form or in pill form. So, you know, totally choose your own adventure. Magnesium really helps for regularity and consistency. Again, talking about poop, yes. 30% of adults are deficient in magnesium. So if you aren't supplementing with magnesium and you're having some issues with regularity, you know, I talk to people a lot who go like 3 to 5 times a week. Not ideal. So you want to maybe add some magnesium in. I like to add it to sparkling water. My friend Hillary introduced me to this. It's called a mocktail. She's so cute. So I just add about a teaspoon of magnesium to some sparkling water and some essential oils. Make myself a little cocktail version. I take it in the evening, especially right before I take my probiotic and head to bed. That works best for me, but you can kind of do your experimentation on your own as well. Magnesium is great because it also helps to neutralize the stomach acid. So if you have a lot of, backup, or you're feeling like you've got a lot of acid happening in your system, add some magnesium in. It can also help to relieve cramping and any of that discomfort if that happens to you as well. Okay, last but not least, MSM, methylsulfamethane. Okay, I can't say that word, but MSM is something actually my mother-in-law turned me on to, and it has been a huge game changer for me. So MSM is biologically active sulfur. And I know that sulfur sounds scary, and this is not the scary version of sulfur, I promise. This is an organic compound that we need to have in our bodies in order to facilitate the waste removal process. So MSM actually helps to remove metabolic waste from our digestive system. And you need to have some sort of sulfur in your gut in order to help that process along. Okay, so taking MSM will help to remove that. I, again, take it in the powder version. Can you tell I really don't like taking swallowing pills? It's hard for me. But again, I believe you can also get it in a capsule or pill form as well. If you were only going to choose one of these things, I would definitely recommend you go for magnesium first. That seems to have the best results for most people right away, and then we can kind of go down the rabbit hole and try some other things. unless you are in the camp of like, hey, I don't go enough, I'm going maybe 1 to 2 times a week, then you and I got to talk about some fiber, some serious fiber and some dietary changes. But if you could only pick one of these things, because I know it can be really overwhelming when you first get started on this, magnesium would be my first one for you to choose, and then maybe head into some MSM. But that was actually the last thing that I added in most recently, about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Okay. Before I move on, let me double check our Facebook comments. You should see me, guys. I have 2 laptops, a phone, I have all the things. Back issues, so that's why you tried the CBD. Does it assist with pain? Yes. Copipa can assist with pain. Nikki, thank you for moderating for me and helping to answer questions. That's awesome. Okay, and then I think I have some questions here. How long should you do something to give it enough time to know if it's working best for you before you change it up? Like taking PB Assist at night and then try it in the morning. Yes, that makes total sense, Rochelle. My rule of thumb is 14 days. So give something 2 weeks. If you are trying something new, like you've been taking your probiotic in the morning and you want to see if taking it at night changes anything for you, try it for 2 weeks before you give up on yourself. Especially if you're adding in a new supplement or you're changing something, you also might have some of that die-off happen. That happens a lot when I work with people who first get on supplements, like a really high quality vitamin. They'll take a vitamin and for about a first week, they maybe don't feel so great. Maybe they've got some head tension or they're kind of achy. They're just not sure. That's your body ridding itself of toxins. So anytime we change anything, we want to give our body time to adjust. So 14 days, about 2 weeks is my rule of thumb. And that actually launches me into my next topic here on other things to try beyond, things that you can put in your body. So beyond essential oils and supplements, try keeping a food journal, which would also be really helpful if you're going to change anything. So if you're going to change up the time of day you take your probiotic, this would be perfect. You could keep a food journal or maybe even just an overall tummy journal, whatever you want to call it. For me, I got really, really specific, and I was writing down every time I ate, the time of day I was eating, exactly what I was eating, how much I was eating, and then I would rate my stomach on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being terrible, I'm in a ball on the couch and I need to go to the ER. 10 being I feel amazing, this is incredible. And I would rate myself on that every single time I ate. Over time, I was able to really decrease that, okay? So then, I was able to just do it once a day. Can I rate myself overall? What are some of the things I ate today? How can I rate myself overall? But if you're really, really struggling and you're here in this class because you are really working on solving an issue or you just need an answer, I can't recommend keeping a food journal enough. It's going to be really important and it will give you lots and lots and lots of information, especially if you're going to end up working with a health coach or nutritionist or someone like that. You're going to be able to bring them this diary basically of resources so they can kind of help you put the pieces of the puzzle together. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but again, this is part of taking ownership, right? This is part of just getting really gritty and realizing that we have to do it ourselves, and we have a whole team of people and a whole community who can rally behind us. But a lot of times, unfortunately, our doctors and medical teams just don't know. They don't know what to do. When I was first diagnosed, my doctor looked at me and said, well, you're actually only my 2nd patient ever with this. So here's a Google search printout from WebMD of what you have, go. And I was like, it's terrifying. So we kind of have to take it on our own. But just know that you're not alone, no matter what you have, whether you're in my gastroparesis group or not. I would be more than happy to kind of walk you through this and help you hold accountable. Okay, the other thing to try is diet changes. This is the one area when I start bringing it up for people that they go, whoa, 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 crazy lady, I don't want to change my diet. I'm just going to drop a little truth bomb on you. Don't hate me, or if you do, that's okay. You can unfollow me. That's fine too. But if you are struggling with a digestive health issue and you are not open to making diet changes, you are not going to see as many results as you want to see. That just is what it is. I was vegan at the time, moving towards raw vegan. The last thing I wanted to do was stop being vegan or was stop eating raw food. And I had to make those changes. And it was really difficult for me to do emotionally, to like wrap my head around. And I know that oftentimes it's the hardest thing for us to think about. And then sometimes we get on this train of like, okay, well, I got to cut out dairy and gluten and sugar and all the things. Start with one thing, move the needle. What's one thing you can decrease or add today? What's one little area that you can make a shift in? And again, working with someone who can help you more one-on-one, devise a plan would be really helpful for that. But you're going to have to make some diet changes. I promise you, I'm still making diet changes all the time, every single day. I've actually been able to add a lot more food back in, which is great. And I can actually go to restaurants now and eat like a semi-normal person. But you just really have to be open and you have to be ready to get gritty and figure it out. But you're not alone. So I still love you. I'm glad you're all still here. Okay, some other things to try is stretching and yoga. So yoga was not really a big part of my daily practice until I got diagnosed with gastroparesis, and I hired a health coach, and she said, you need to take a yoga class. And I laughed in her face. I was like, that's not happening. I can't do yoga. I can't shut my brain off. Like, I don't know how to make this happen. I can't tell you enough how important it is, even just for your mindset, to start a yoga practice. And even if you just want to start at home, any kind of twists that you can do. So you could even just do a quick YouTube search for yoga for digestive health, or yoga twists in yoga, something like that. Spinal twists, any of that is going to really be helpful for generating some movement in your digestive system. So I actually ended up coming up with a little stretching yoga routine I would do every night before bed, and that was really, really helpful. And I'll be happy to share that. I'm going to be sharing that in my group coaching program coming up here pretty soon. So stay tuned. I'll put it up on Instagram too. But anyway, definitely check out that part of it if you haven't looked into yoga and stretching. I'm not a yoga instructor, nor do I claim to be, but there are a lot of amazing ones out there. Just look it up on YouTube, and there's a plethora of information. Dry brushing is something that I only recently got into, like the last maybe 6-8 months. And I'm amazed at how much the dry brushing, I feel like, has changed my digestion, which seems really strange, but it makes sense to me on a sciencey, nerdy level. So when you are dry brushing, it's when you're taking a dry brush, you can grab them on Amazon, and you're moving it in circles basically around your body to activate the lymphatic system. So it's going to help drain excess fluid. It's going to help get everything moving, and it's going to help to rid your body of toxins. Again, going back to that living a toxin-free lifestyle in order to help our digestive health and bring everything back into balance. So dry brushing can be really helpful. Same thing with massage, and it's the same sort of concept. So in yoga, we're stretching and we're twisting and we're moving. Dry brushing, we're stimulating that lymphatic system. Massage, same thing. Your massage therapist is stimulating your lymph nodes and getting everything moving in your body, especially if you're having any kind of digestive issue where things are not moving through, like you have GP or something like that, and you're kind of blocked up. Get yourself a massage, invest in your health. You won't regret it. Meditation, that was another thing. When my health coach told me to meditate, I was like, ha! You're really funny. That's not happening. But I'm telling you, it sounds a little hippie woo-woo. Hang in there with me, but it can make some really big changes for you. There's an app called Insight Timer. It's my favorite. I still use that one, and I meditate every day for about 10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes I fall asleep. That's okay too. Give yourself some grace. Start with 5 minutes. Start with 2 minutes. Start with whatever you can do. For me, I meditated on literally visualizing the food moving down my esophagus, into my stomach, through my intestines, and out my body. That was my meditation visualization for a good 8 months, just to kind of help get your mindset around what needs to happen in your body to help connect that mind-gut connection so that your body can begin to work with you. Reiki and acupuncture are also two other healing modalities that you can kind of look into. I personally did a little bit of Reiki. I had some of that done early on in my diagnosis, and I do feel like it helps, at the very least, with just like mindset. Acupuncture is not something I have personally tried yet. So if you have an acupuncture testimony and you are working with a digestive health issue, I would love to hear it. It's not an area that I've explored, but I do have lots of friends who love acupuncture for lots of different other reasons. Counseling and emotional health. This is a big one. Stress and our digestive health are inextricably linked. So seeking a counselor, if you feel like that's the next step for you, might be really great. Again, it's that investment, right? Emotional, financial, time. You just need to invest in figuring out what's going on with your body, and it might be something that you can help support your body by just getting some emotional support or some counseling. I did because a lot of my symptoms worsened after my mother passed. And so seeking a grief counselor to help me sort through some of those emotional issues helped my body to regulate and helped get everything back into balance. Reducing your toxic load. So maybe you're listening to me and I've been talking about toxic load and you're like, wow, I have not even thought about the toxins in my cleaning products, or the toxins in my makeup, or the toxins in my Glade plugins, or whatever it is. That might be an area for you to start, and that would be an easy shift, right? It would be really easy for you to work with me or someone, whoever resonates with you, or just search it on YouTube. How can I make a non-toxic countertop spray with water and baking soda and vinegar, or whatever it is? Just start to again, move the needle, make a tiny little shift towards a more non-toxic life, and see if that doesn't help support your digestive health as well, and overall health too, right? I mean, the more natural we can be, the more well-rounded we're going to feel. And then last but not least on my list is health coaching. It was hugely transformative for me. I'm finally at the point where I'm opening up my schedule to take on both group and individual health coaching. I would love to be your health coach if I resonate with you. And if not, just search for somebody who does. You know, you got to really make sure that you find someone who you feel like you can connect with, who's going to be understanding and empathetic, and is also going to tell you the truth, and is also going to lay it on you when you need to hear it, right? I can't tell you enough how wonderful and how valuable of an investment health coaching was for me in the very beginning of my journey. Okay, so usually at this point in the class, I have all these people being like, all right, so this is awesome. I need all this stuff. How do I get started? In a nutshell, there's 2 ways to purchase doTERRA essential oils and products. So your probiotics, your digestive enzymes, all the things other than some of the other stuff that you can grab on Amazon. But anything from doTERRA, you can buy retail. So you're going to be paying retail price. You order online. I'll drop my link below this video so you can do it that way. Most people, however, order wholesale. That basically means that you become a doTERRA customer, just like Costco. So you pay 35 bucks. You get 25% off of anything you spend. And it's awesome. And you also get me, you get our private Facebook group, you get personalized wellness consultation calls and check-ins. We have a huge community. There's all kinds of freebies and fun things happening. So that is, I would say, 98.9% of people who choose to order doTERRA purchase them wholesale. And again, this is not roping you into doing this as a business, although if that's something that you want to do, let me know. I'd be happy to go on an exploratory call with you. But this is just setting up your customer account so that you can order things online, have them shipped straight to you, and you are in control. There are a couple different ways to go about it. You can either just pay the 35 bucks and add in, you know, okay, I want to start with some probiotics and some peppermint or whatever, or you can go with a kit. When you go with a kit, it waives that $35 activation fee. This is my favorite kit right now. It's 20% off for the month of May, so that's the reason why I wanted to talk about it. And also it has the vitamin line that I talked about, the enzymes, the probiotics, the deep blue rub that you're going to use for any kind of like discomfort, right, and pain. And it also has 5 oils: frankincense, lavender, On Guard and Balance, which are great for like cleaning and immunity and also for emotional stability, and then lemon. Okay, so we talked about 3 of those specifically today. It's really great. It's an additional 20% off, and it also gets you your wholesale customer account. Also, I wanted to mention for you that coming up, kicking off on May 20th, so in about, oh gosh, 9 days here, I have a Happy Healthy Habits 21-day group coaching program happening. We're going to be using all of the products right here in the Healthy Habits kit, and we're going to be doing some group coaching together. So if you are brand new to doTERRA and you choose to enroll before the 20th of May, you're going to be able to access my 21-day group coaching program for free. If you are an existing doTERRA customer of mine, I have a separate rate for you. And then if you are an existing doTERRA customer on someone else's team, we'd still love for you to join us. I have a separate rate for you as well. So just send me a direct message and I'll give you some more details on pricing. But basically with this 21-day group coaching program, we're going to be doing it in a private Facebook group. So you'll have access to that. We'll be doing 3 live master classes. We'll be doing a 60-minute individualized coaching call with you and I. You'll also have access to our private community for accountability and education and resources. I'm going to give you an ebook, some meal plans, workout routines, a habit tracker, and I'm also going to send you an exclusive little roller blend for transformation because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, Instagram's telling me I have 1 minute, 37 seconds left, so I'm going to wrap it up really quick. Here's how to find me in all the vortexes: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, email, carrier pigeon. I'm pretty much the easiest person in the world to get a hold of, so let me know how I can help support you. And I will drop some links below this video in the Facebook group for where to purchase some of these things that I talked about on Amazon, okay? So you don't have to like go down the rabbit hole of searching for them, and I can share with you my favorite brands as well. I hope you enjoyed this class. I hope you got some value from it today. I know I have 1 minute and 10 seconds. Instagram's yelling at me. Let me just check the Facebook comments one more time. Awesome. I love it. I have someone who's helping me moderate. Wonderful. Okay, perfect. I think that's it. You guys were great. I had so much fun chatting with all of you. Thank you so much for being here and for gifting me with an hour of your Saturday. I know I talked really, really fast and gave you a ton of information, but hopefully something of it stuck. Let me know if you have any questions going forward, and I hope you have a beautiful weekend and that you are out there being well and being nice to your tummy. All right, you all have a great day. Talk soon. Bye.